Hi, friends.
What's up, guys?
Happy Wednesday.
Hope y'all are doing well.
Yeah.
As of the day of recording, it's
cozy, but rainy and gross.
good reading weather.
It is.
Let's put it that way.
What are you currently reading, Sophia?
I am trying to get through a couple arcs, actually, right now, which are advanced reading copies. If you guys don't know, there's this site called NetGalley, and if you have, like, at least some sort of bookish profile, like, whether that's even just, like, a Goodreads account, you can sign up and, like, request different books that are yet to come, and then you can read them and post reviews. So I'm trying to catch up on a couple of those. Some are going good. Some I'm not so sure about.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You're working on our book club book, right?
Yes, I'm reading The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods.
Nice.
I'm about a quarter in. It's about a magical bookshop, guys, that, like, disappears and reappears, and it sounds
fun.
really cool. I'm a little confused right now, but
I feel
we're
like
getting
some
through.
books, actually this is a good question, some books that have like magical realism, because there's like so little of a magic element, do you feel like sometimes it's just like supposed to be confusing, or other times you're like, oh, I'm totally, because like for example with River Enchanted, which I would say is like,
yeah.
you know, it's obviously a little bit more magical, but like it's set in a pretty understandable like world, like there's
Right.
no fae or anything. Like, would you say that makes, I think that magic system makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Versus,
and also,
like,
like,
yeah,
what's
you
her
know?
name? 7 Year Slip.
Yeah.
Ashley
Now,
Poston.
I just
She's
recently read The Dead Romantics.
Oh, yeah.
That one was a little bit more confusing to me, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of asking, because it's interesting when authors...
This one's a little confusing, but I
Okay.
feel like maybe we're getting somewhere.
Okay. Well, I'll
yeah.
be reading it soon, so...
And if you guys didn't
Yeah.
already know, we have a book club of our own.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. It's on Fable. It's on the app. It's low key, but we'd love to read with you guys and we could talk about it. But we're reading the Encyclopedia of Fairies, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Who's it by again?
Good question.
I always say Emily Wilde all the time, and I'm like, oh no,
It's-
that's
is
the
it-
main character.
Heather Fawcett? Does that sound familiar?
Ooh,
Is that it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think so. But yeah, I always also refer to it as just like it's Emily Wilde's book, because she's the one that feels like is writing it.
Right.
You know?
You're right, Heather Fawcett.
Wow.
You're right.
Look at that. Look at me
Yeah.
go.
Wow.
I'm very impressed with myself. Little tap on the shoulder. Anyways, guys, talking about reading, a couple of weeks ago, we had a special little video for you guys that was us doing a 24-hour readathon. I hope that y'all enjoyed that video. If you have not seen it, it was posted. We will probably link it below in the YouTube video. But that was a really fun time. And it was a great way to like launch season 3 and
Yeah.
have like a fun little vlog for y'all. But we kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit today because it was an interesting time. And also, Kaitlin, you already posted a TikTok about it
Yeah.
before the vlog even came out.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's getting some traction.
Yeah, I think it has
been
like
fun.
40K views right now.
Yeah.
So it's funny because people are like commenting like, I wish I had a book bestie that I could do this with. And they're thinking, yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Which it is fun, you guys. But I feel like if you're interested in doing it alone with a friend, whatever, this is a good podcast to listen to.
Yeah.
Because we had a fun time.
It was kind of chaotic, but it was so
yeah,
much fun.
a little chaotic.
was
Let's
great.
talk about the planning. We actually planned a lot before we even
Right.
did it.
I think it was a couple weeks in advance. Well, we had been talking about doing it for a while. And at first it was kind of just like, oh, one day we'll do a 24-hour readathon. Like, that'd be really fun. And then finally, I think it was probably a day of recording where I was over and we were talking. You were like, okay, let's sit and actually plan this. And so, you know, we actually booked a day. We're booked. We found a day, or it was actually, 2 days, because it would have to be 24 hours. And then we really, like, literally in our notes app, like, kind of wrote out, like, these are the books that we probably read. Here's the timeline. Like, because as y'all have probably seen in previous episodes, Boba is featured occasionally on
Papa.
here, which
Yep.
is Caitlin's little puppy.
Yes.
And so we had to, plan around, like, her schedule a little bit, taking her out and taking some breaks. And so, yeah, it was a fun time just even doing that initial process.
Well, to clarify, there's also 2 ways to do the 24-hour reading challenge if you've never watched a video or seen it. But basically, what we did was we set a timer of 24 hours just to see how much we can read within that 24 hours. So we started at like 11:45 on a Friday, ended at Saturday, 11:45.
Yeah.
The other way to do it is to time yourself reading over like a week or so. So like if you're reading for 3 hours, you set the timer, you stop it, and then you see it when you can get to 24 hours. So like you are stopping time. In our case, we did not stop time. So we wanted to get stuff done that we were already reading, that's on our TBR, that we're excited to read. Sophia, tell them how many books you brought.
Well, the problem is that I'm such a mood reader. And I was like, okay, 24 hours.
I don't think that's a problem.
Wait. Well, the problem therein was that when I looked at the fact that it was 24 hours, I was like, okay, either A, I end up getting through a whole series, so I need to bring all those books, or B, I start a book in a series and I'm just not feeling it, and I feel like it's not going to hold my attention. I'm going to just fall asleep and get exhausted. So I need to bring other options to fill out, anyways. So I brought the book I was currently reading, which was Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Laini Taylor, I think, is the author. Laini Taylor, something like that. So I brought that because I was like a third of the way through, and I was like, okay, first goal is to finish this book. And then a series that had been on the front of my mind was the Unwind series by Neil Shusterman. And he's just an author that I've ranted about before. And so I wanted to get into that series. But then again, I was like, well, what if I'm not feeling it? Because it's very dystopian. Like, what if that's not the vibe? And I want to do some rom-coms. So I brought Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood and The Dead Romantics, which is not really rom-com, but, it's in that romance category. And that's by Ashley Poston. And then... what else did I bring? Oh, I brought the Poppy War trilogy. Yeah. Which is very high fantasy, but I was kind of feeling it at the time. Like, I really want to get to that still. And so I brought that entire trilogy because, again, like, what if I started the first book and I just was loving it and wanted to keep going? Right. Was that everything I brought? I'm pretty sure.
I think so. And then you brought stuff, you brought your Kindle too.
Yeah.
So we definitely made like lists of things that we wanted to bring. Sophia had to bring all of her books to my place, and then I had my books on the shelf. But what was like, I guess, what was your experience the first half?
The first half was,
the day.
I think, really, like, I think we were at our most energetic. We took a couple of breaks, like we had our, our coffee, you had a matcha, like we were kind of ready to go. And like, I think the energy was a lot higher. And like, at least personally for me, like I was, very like excited to be reading. I finished the first book that I had started. I got into the Unwind series and I started really enjoying it. So I think I was really vibing with that really up until the point that our friend Tatum came over. And then that was nice because we took a little bit of a break, had pizza, chilled, and then like having the three of us kind of read was really great.
That was fun.
I think the first half was like I was really actually absorbing what I was reading and understanding it. Right. Give me your first half.
The whole first part I read Magnolia Parks, and in the video that's posted on the YouTube you can see that I'm reading it, and then all of a sudden I just start annotating, and I don't do that. I really don't. I don't. Only if I know it's going to be like hard to understand or like new characters or I really love the book, then I'm going to annotate it. But for the most part, I don't do that. So the fact that I pulled out all my annotating supplies. So Sophia had a different way of reading. She just kind of like sped through and was just like, devouring the books. I took my time. So it took me a little longer to finish Magnolia Parks. I think I finished it like 8 or 9 p.m. that night. Yeah, so that was fun. I really enjoyed it, actually.
But the Unwind series is YA, young adult, first of all. And also, like, the style in which Neil Shusterman writes, you, like, don't want to slow down. Like, you want to just keep reading. And so I think that it held my attention. He wrote the Scythe series. And then I had also just recently read another book of his called Dry that actually his son co-wrote with him, which I thought was really fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, and so that was another book that really held my attention. So I think because I was also familiar with his work, I just read pretty quickly. And so I think by the time you finished Magnolia Parks, I was like 2.5 books, basically, because it was the first 2 books of the Unwind series, and then the book I had brought and finished.
What did you rate? Yeah. You finished the series, right?
I did.
What did you rate the series?
Overall, kind of like a 4.5. Like, I really enjoyed it.
That's pretty high.
I think something that got in the way of it a little bit was the third book, which was when I read from like 11 to 4:30 a.m.
Oh, right.
So the book already had a little bit of a disadvantage, just because, you know...
We don't usually read at those hours of the night.
The craziness starts to set in.
Oh, yeah, we were delulu.
It was a lot. Like, I think, you know, as a whole series, like, I really loved it, but I haven't really stuck, like, an individual rating for each book, just because they all kind of, they truly, I think when you read a series all in one go, the books really blend. Like, I don't remember, I don't really remember where one book stopped and the next one started. Like, I kind of am just like, it was all one story, you know? So yeah, 4.5 though. I really loved it. I highly recommend.
Wow.
But yeah, I think like I said, I think the disadvantage was the third book with the, you know, middle of the night reading.
At that time.
You gave MP Magnolia Parks a pretty high
I did.
rating.
It's my 5-star read of the month.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. I mean, probably 3/4 into the book I already ordered Daisy Hates while they were with me.
Yeah.
I'm just like so addicted. Guys, it's so toxic. That's all I have to say.
I think you can see again
But
in
I
the video.
love it.
In the video, there's so many moments where I like zoom in on you and you're just like
I was just so frustrated. For those who've read Magnolia Parks, you already know. Book 1. Wow, that ending. Wow. That's all I have to say. I gave it 5 stars, and then at the wee hours of the morning, I decided to pick up As Good as Dead, which is the third book to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and it was the darkest one out of all 3. And I tried to get an audiobook going of that, and I was crocheting and falling asleep at the same time. So do I remember it? No, I'm gonna need to pick it back up. But we fell asleep. How long were maybe 3 hours?
I fell asleep. You were still listening to the audiobook when I said peace out, I'm crashing on your couch. And so because you can say in a minute, because I don't remember yours exactly, but for me, I fell asleep from like 4:30 to 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then when I woke up, you were gone. I was like, oh, she's out. And so I went ahead and I picked up called We Hunt the Flame, because it was on my Kindle. Right. I was just not feeling like picking up the Unwind series at that moment. I was like, and then I read from 6 to 7 a.m. and I got maybe 5 chapters in, and yeah, it was good. I don't really think I retained much of the information. And so I fell back asleep, and it was like 7 to like 8:15ish that I was out.
Oh, okay.
Again, and then we woke up and like restarted. Yeah. But when did you?
Do you say you fell asleep at 4:30?
Around 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was up for another 45 minutes.
Wow.
So I fell asleep at 5:15.
Okay.
And I think I anxiety woke up around 6, and I'm like, I think I got your text. Yeah. I'm like, hey, I'm reading. It's fine, you can rest. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went back to sleep probably till 7, which is when you were like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to sleep. So I was like, okay. So I really fell asleep from 5:15 to I woke up again at 6, and then we went back to bed till 8-ish, 8:30.
Yeah. Which, by the way, guys, if you are doing a 24-hour readathon, actually, I highly recommend taking a little bit of a nap, because I think, first of all, it's unhealthy to stay up for 24 hours straight.
Yes.
That's just common knowledge.
I'm still kind of recovering. I am. I'm just so tired all the time.
I will say it didn't necessarily help that the Saturday, so the next morning, and that whole day, it was just pouring down rain.
Right, I forgot.
So I think the energy level was just I got home and just crashed.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And so, because again, I think if it had been super sunny and a bright day, maybe I would have been a little bit more energetic.
Or we could have moved locations.
Yeah,
we could have gone to the park or a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys.
But either way, if you end up doing something like this, highly recommend, but also you can sleep. Because again, I think, we were saying at the beginning, the point of this 24 hours was setting aside 24 hours and just seeing how much we could read.
Yes.
And so if sleep needed to happen, sleep needed to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And so
We really tried not to, because we had bought energy drinks and we were really like ready to like, you know, be those young college kids that 24 hours I can stay up for 36 because I'm studying for finals. Like I was like, that was the energy we were going for. 2:30. Yeah. 2:30. Hey guys, so I just picked up this book. But also like it's quite mentally draining.
It is. Yeah. Because you are just staring at words on paper. Ink on paper.
Yes.
You know, and I think that, again, like...
We weren't studying.
Yeah.
So it was... The plot was fun. Obviously. We chose books that we enjoyed, but also it's just a lot for your eyes. It's a lot. So we wear glasses and contacts. Yeah. That day, Sophia and I both looked at each other, had our glasses on, because we knew we were going to be tired.
I arrived to my glasses, which are like an inch thick, by the way. They're so thick because I'm so almost blind.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. We talked about that.
Yeah.
So I texted because I was like, oh, like I might want to be contacts for most of the day and then switch to glasses later on. And I woke up that morning on the Friday morning, and I think I texted you. I was like, I'm coming in glasses. Yep. Like I was like, I'm not even messing with my contacts today. Yes. Like no way. I'm just not doing it. Which like again, like just you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
I will say, I think like in terms of like the energy, we did coffee and matcha to start. Mm-hmm. Then we did more coffee. We had like a coffee kind of with like, and then we did like Coke Zero with pizza, which honestly has caffeine. So that kept me awake a little bit.
That was fun.
And then I did down one of my energy drinks at like midnight.
Oh.
11:30ish midnight.
Was it already midnight?
Something like that. Yeah. Because I remember filming at like 11 being like, guys, I'm still okay. Like, I'm doing okay. And then I think it was probably like an hour later that I was like, yeah, no, I'm down to energy drink. But you avoided it.
I did. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know, but I had a terrible addiction to caffeine. Like, I'd have to do 2 to 3 coffees, like cups a day.
Wow.
Or I would get a migraine. Like, bad. Like, gotta go into the room. So, anyway, I had weaned off of that, and I can drink coffee and matcha at a very healthy way now, and I knew that I had to limit my caffeine intake. So, yeah, I did the matcha, and then, like, maybe a little bit of iced coffee, but then we had pizza. And Kaitlin, when I have a lot of we also had garlic knots.
Okay, well, by the way, let's pause. I was so desperate for garlic knots. Let's just pause on that. Do you remember me being like, we were looking at so many pizza options, and you were like, they don't have garlic nuts. This place doesn't have garlic nuts. All she wanted was garlic. And I was like, you don't understand how. No, because I texted you the day before, like a day or two before, and I was like, question
the desperation.
Can we do pizza for dinner?
Right.
And then I was like, because the garlic nuts. Chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like, guys,
also
so
New York
good.
City garlic knots.
So good. But like I was desperate.
Yeah, she was.
So, but think about it. It was pizza and garlic nuts. Carbs on carbs.
So
amazing.
Really yummy, really yummy. But I started getting tired. That's just what happens with bread and pasta when you get older. Just like, I'm sleepy. So I definitely got a big iced coffee around like 9 or 10, and I was like, cool. But I did end up getting tired around like 2. Fair. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's fine. It's fine.
What point did you switch to the audiobook? It was like 3 a.m.-ish, kind of.
Maybe 4, when you were starting to fall asleep.
Right.
Yeah. I had to look everywhere for this audiobook, and by the time I found it, I couldn't listen to it on 2 speed. And I was like,
yeah. The other thing, guys, just so you know, it was, you kind of kept yourself awake by crocheting.
I did.
Which Kaitlin's been recently learning.
I have.
I think we talked a while ago. We've talked in the past about like finding your cozy hobby and how that's not always necessarily reading. Like, you have to find a fun, cozy hobby. Like, it's just fun, right? And so Kaitlin's been a good student.
Yes.
I've been teaching her crocheting.
Yeah.
And so it was fun to see you like doing the audiobook and crochet thing.
Yes.
Because it was like, again, you're keeping yourself awake by that, but also like this is a good example of you can read and do other things at the same time.
Yeah.
You can color, you can crochet, you can, whatever it might be. I think that was a fun example of like, you're still reading, but you're like absorbing and it just in a different way.
Totally. Yeah. I think having the option of an audiobook and a Kindle and a physical goal was just good to have for both of us because like it is hard to like have your neck down all the time like reading a book, and then if you have your Kindle it could be up here and like less straining on your hands, especially when you're reading for as long as we did. But what was like, I was really impressed by how much I read, but I want to know, what did you push yourself, and like did you do more than you thought you would? Or
a little bit, actually. Yeah, I think that I was not expecting. Well, again, I had come in with, I don't know what exactly I'm going to read, but we'll see what happens. So I hadn't necessarily set a goal of like, you are going to finish the entire Unwind series. Like that was not necessarily the goal. Once I started really getting into the first book though, and I was like, oh, I want to keep going. I did think like, oh, it would be cool if I finished this whole series. But I also tried to like have a little bit of a realistic situation. But all that to say, I think when I pushed myself the most, shout out to your matcha. By the way, guys, if you watch Kaitlin's book talk account, which I highly recommend, she like your like thing. No, I don't. What am I trying to say here? What's the word? Like your
hook.
Yeah, your hook is like the
my iced coffee.
The iced coffee.
Sometimes it's loud. I know.
It's funny.
So I've been putting a cap on it, and it's been cute.
Yeah,
okay,
it's been fun. Anyways, shout out to that. But anyways, I think by the time I got to the third book, which was the 11 to 4:30 a.m. read, I think I was like, Sophia, it's okay to slow down a little bit. Like it's fine. Like you're obviously very tired. Like
right.
So I think that's why when I woke up from 6 a.m. to 7, I was like, I just don't want to pick it up. Like I want to try something else. Yeah. Because I had been in that world all day, really, if you think about it. And then what happened was that I did finish. So technically, I finished the series. Because it's 4 books in the series, and then the 5th book is just like a bunch of short stories that kind of take place at various timelines through the series. So technically I did finish the 4 books in the time, and then I finished the short stories like within the next couple days afterwards. But I think like, I mean, I'm really proud of it. And like I said, like I did love the series. But I also hadn't necessarily been like, you will finish this entire series. But I think your 2 goals, and I think this was interesting to see how your goals kind of shifted. I know you wanted to read Magnolia Parks, which we knew you would do, but your other main goal at the start was Queen of Shadows. Yes. But I think you made the right choice by not reading it in the middle of the night, because I think you would have just not been able to absorb a fantasy like that. No. You know? Yeah,
I think Magnolia Parks was a good break, because I had kind of been in a mini slump, mini reading slump. Magnolia Parks was just new and fresh, and I'd already been excited to read it. So that was cool. Yeah, I forgot that I tried to pick up Queen of Shadows. Yeah. I haven't since. But I think I'm going to try again, just because I know that it's such a big journey for
it's
the main character.
It's the big next step.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about it. But As Good as Dead, it wasn't doing it. I should not have done a dark thriller at the end of the night.
What did you pick up the next morning, though?
Oh, yes. So when I woke up in the morning, I picked up Arsenic and Adobo, which is like a cozy mystery Filipino. So cute. You don't have to be Filipino to read it.
You were like giggling. I was over there reading.
It was so funny. It was so cute. Only 294 pages. So I feel like, I don't know, if we did it again, I feel like I would try to either start with a really intense one and then do like short fun reads to just like keep going and feel like I'm moving. But yeah, I am really glad I didn't do I'm so glad I did not do Queen of Shadows. Yeah, you made a I probably did 20 pages and then I was like, I'm gonna switch over.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing. Like, what would you just mentioned a little bit, like what would be a strategy for if we ever do this again? Because like I agree that I think a bit of a, not a dense read, but a fun read that maybe is going to take a little bit more brain power to start out with. Yeah. But I do think you're going to have to lighten it up as you get more tired. Just because, you know, you just need something fluffy to read. It's almost like watching TV in the background type vibe, where you can just kind of turn your brain off a little bit. Honestly, part of me wishes I had maybe picked up a rom-com. You know, that, because the thing was, the book I picked up, We Hunt the Flame, was a YA fantasy. Yeah, and I do wonder. I do wonder, like, say for example, I had picked up Check and Mate or something like that. Right. If I could have read through that 6 a.m. to all the way through, you know, to the next morning, we'll never know. You know, but I just think finding like the lighter reads as you get a little bit more tired. Also, what helped me a lot was constantly kind of switching locations. So I would be here on the couch, then I would go over to like your countertop and sit and read, and then I would kind of just like get myself up and walking, because the problem is that I do, even if I'm sitting and reading, like say I'm not laying down, I do start to like just kind of settle in too much. then the drowsiness starts to kick in, and so I it really helped just to kind of keep moving. You were able to kind of you sat at your table for a lot of it.
Yeah, I knew that I needed to be upright. I knew it, because I was like, once I get on my couch, get a blanket over me and just be warm and cozy. It's over. It's over. I'm gonna fall asleep. So it's kind of like in a classroom. Like that's why kids are not like lying down or sitting on the floor, or like they have to be up. So I knew I needed to sit at a table, annotate, and just like get it done. So I do wonder next time if we do it when the weather is good,
we could go
that
outside.
we go to the park, that we go to maybe a coffee shop, we go to Barnes.
That could help a lot.
You know, it would be so fun if we went to Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
If we just like sat in the cafe. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the same thing. Like what we can maybe do is go down to Union Square, so we sit outside in the park for a little while.
That's fun.
Then we go into the Barnes. Guys, we're planning this
We're
live
in real time. Thank you.
And so then, but we could do it like maybe May or June would be good.
Because that would be really nice
then like
weather.
the New York vibes.
Oh my
gosh. We
gosh.
would look so cool reading outside. Just saying.
She's thinking of the content. It's
so,
fine.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, but also we can go to my rooftop.
Yes.
Too, and read.
Guys, on Easter, we were
know.
chilling, which was so fun. You hosted like a
that
bunch
was
of
fun.
us, and it was a great time. And you were like, we can go to the rooftop.
They locked it because they knew people were going to get up there. It was so annoying. But anyway. Yeah, when the weather is good, I wonder if like we just get out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so if you're going to do it, like try to, if you have a car. We don't have a car. So like
I
it's
do, but
well,
I don't want to use it in the city.
We don't use it every day.
Yeah.
And so like just getting around, I think if you can get out of the house, if you can sit outside, go to a restaurant, go get lunch, and like eat. Ooh, we should do that too.
Yeah.
See, guys, we're already thinking ahead.
We're planning
because
this.
I wonder what it would be like if we did a 24-hour readathon in New York City as we're doing life. You know what I mean? Just like, hey, let's go eat. Let's go to the Barnes and Noble. Yeah,
that'd be
I think that
so
would be
much fun.
I think next time too, I would really maybe choose books that I'm stoked about. Like even if they're new books, I'd probably just go get it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I need to be like punish myself and be like, well, this has been on my TBR for like a year.
Yeah.
And like I should just read it, and like I'm not gonna want to.
Right. Make it fun. Make it fun.
I think that's why mood reading is fun in this context.
We should definitely. I think we've literally just planned the next one. I think we have. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Obviously, that would be. But I think we need to do like a take 2 for sure.
Yeah.
And see the difference.
It's fun.
I think also, like I said, it was super rainy, especially kind of the end of Friday night into Saturday morning. And so the energy, like, listen, a rainy day is the perfect reading weather, but only for about 2 hours in a row.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a cozy 2-hour reading time is, like, perfect in, like, ugly, rainy, wet, cold weather. But for a full 24 hours, it makes it really difficult because you start to zone out and fall asleep.
Yes.
But guys, it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
And we had a great time doing it. So would highly recommend.
Sophia, would you do it on your own?
I did do it on my own, kind of. I did the timer method.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it took me like a week. The first day, I did like 5 hours of reading. And I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. Like, I'll get through this in the next couple of days.
Right.
And it just started to like get harder and harder. And also, I think just keeping account of like the timer was I was just like, you know, I just kind of kept looking at the timer and being like, oh my gosh. So it took me, like a full 7 days to get through the 24 hours. So technically I've done it, but just in that method.
Yeah.
But that was a really like stopper start. Like if I took a break to like go get some food or get up, like I stopped the timer. Like I was very specific about the timing.
Okay.
So I don't think I would do that again. But also I think just doing it with a friend was fun because we did have those moments of like talking, taking a break, like, and also though like encouraging each other, being like, oh, what part are you at? Like, where are you? Like, what's going on, you know, in your book? And so I think it's really fun to do it with a friend.
Yeah.
But also I have seen multiple people do it on their own.
Yes.
And be fairly successful at it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a bookish sleepover, but you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
I think, it was really fun. I also we did a lot of math. Our friend Tatum is a genius at math. Yeah. So I wanted to figure out how many pages was I reading in in an hour. So I'm averaging about 50, maybe like 52 pages an hour, which is actually normal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So do you remember how many you were
like
averaging?
80-ish,
Okay.
80 something pages an hour, which for me I would say is pretty normal.
Yeah.
I feel like I was reading at a normal pace for myself. I don't think I was going too much faster. But again, it also was that I was reading like YA. So
I think what's fun is that you can surprise yourself of like how much you can read within 24 hours. I think I realized, so at the end of it, I started Arsenic and Adobo, slept for a while, and then I was like, I'm going to finish the book. Because I can.
Right. You did text me.
Yeah.
Like when I got home, you were like, actually, I think I'm going to keep reading it. I did not read,
night.
Just so you know, I did not read the rest of the day.
Really?
I was pretty out of it. Like
That's
that Saturday,
crazy.
I was like, no.
Yes.
Like I think I slept for a solid like 4.5 hours.
I love it.
Popped on some TV and then fell back asleep.
Nice.
So I was just like, I'm not reading. I'm not doing it.
You might be really proud of me. Sophia put on music, and I read while music was on.
Yeah.
Now, she put on some, like, really good, just... It wasn't like high stakes music
Just
that I would be distracted. There were a few moments where you're like, oh my gosh, what is this from? Like, this is really nice. Because we're also musicians. And so, like, we liked some of the music, but I did okay.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you. And it was nice for me because I do read, as we've talked about. I do read with some like music in the background.
Yeah.
So if
Except for that last 2 hours.
That's true.
We were in dead silence because we were like, I'm going to get through this.
That's true. We did. So, a combination.
Yeah.
But we both did really good. We both challenged ourselves in that sense.
It was fun.
But yeah, it was really fun. Well, guys, if you have not seen the vlog of this, please go check it out. There's a lot of really fun little moments in it.
It's cute.
I was able to catch some really funny conversations and it's just, like lots of fun things. So that will definitely be linked in the YouTube video of this episode. But yeah, just go check out the We're Booked YouTube channel and you'll find it. And we had a great time doing it, and it captures even more moments than we talked about today. Yeah. But yeah, guys, we don't have any questions for the end of this episode. We just wanted to talk about the Readathon. Highly encourage you to try something like this, whether you want to do a timer method or setting aside 24 hours. Also, again, like we've talked in the past about finding your book friends. Like if you do have anybody that even you're like kind of casually friends with, just like put it out there. You never know. Could be fun and a great way to bond, you know. So anyways, this was a really fun time, and we'll definitely be doing it again.
I really do want to do it again.
So yeah. All right, you guys, thanks for listening to this week's episode. Again, go check out the vlog, and we'll see y'all next week.
Yay. Bye.
Bye.